Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Satsang with myself, John Homewood, and
Michelle. Hi, everybody.
Michelle McLuden. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so we take an hour, about an hour of our time.
Something like that.
On a Sunday, just to bring ourselves together collectively in Satsang, which is a word meaning the gathering of wisdom, the sharing of compassion and love, and it's designed really to open us up to an energy of the transcendent, an energy of life, divine love outside of the mind, and to help us connect with that intuitive guiding energy and put us in the right space for the week ahead. That's the idea behind these satsangs. And at the same time as we open up to the light of consciousness, so we become a channel and a portal for light and consciousness to flow into the earth and to open people's hearts, which is quite necessary at this time, we feel.
Yeah, and the satsang also just gives us a chance to finish the weekend and to prepare ourselves for the week ahead. So it just gives us a chance to check in and connect and go inside a bit.
Yeah. And tonight, what are we talking about tonight?
Holding space.
Holding space. Why did we choose that subject?
With everything that's going on astrologically and we thought it would be a good idea.
There's a lot happening in the world.
Yeah.
And maybe even in your lives. You probably noticed your emotions, stresses, etc., maybe sleeping patterns. These are all things which are sort of in a bit of turmoil at the moment. So if you are joining us for the first time, just type up your name, let us know who we're talking to. Well, if you're joining us as a repeat participant, also let us know who we're speaking to, because we do like to know who we are connecting to, and we love getting the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please can you do that, and also join our WhatsApp group as Journeys of Awakening, and that's on WhatsApp. The link to that is on our website, journeysofawakening.com. So join that group, because we do post information there and guidance there as well. So hello Paula, and hello, who's
Doreen,
that? Doreen.
and
Hello, yes.
Yeah, and if
Hi.
others of you that are here, just tell us who you are so we know who we're speaking to, because we can't see you all.
Can't see you all. Yes, yes. Welcome. So we always start our satsangs by withdrawing our consciousness, our awareness, our attention from the world out there and coming into the center, coming into this present moment. So let's do that. Let's just settle back, see that you're comfortable. Make quite sure that you have just set aside a little bit of quiet time for yourself right now. Hello, who's that? Laura.
Hi, Laura.
And Dinka. How do you pronounce that? Say it.
Dinga, I think.
Dinga, yeah. Better than me. And Tanya, yeah. Right, okay. So just settle back and just bring your attention from the stories of your life into life itself. Life itself is here and now, so gently close your eyes and just connect with your body from the inside out. So connect with the beating of your heart, the breathing, the sensations coming in to your awareness from your ears, through the physical body. Maybe you can be aware of the chair that you're sitting on. Maybe you can be aware of the ground beneath your feet. Become aware of where your hands are resting. And just taking a moment to withdraw your mind from all other times and all other places. Let's set the present moment as our destination, our fulfillment right now. Let's just say that this moment is it. This moment is what we've been searching for, and now we've arrived here, in this present moment, here and now. And what it requires is an acceptance of whatever is occurring in this present moment. So there may be some tension in the body, any aches and pains in the body. Just allow them to be there. There may be some disturbing thoughts, troublesome thoughts floating through your awareness right now. Just allow them. Allow them to just pass gently through your awareness without following them, without attaching any emotions to them. Just become aware that you are the witness to the thoughts and to the body's sensations. And take a very deep breath in and a long breath out. Take a deep breath in now, but bring it into your solar plexus. So as you breathe in, blow your tummy out like a big ball. And as you breathe out, just drop your shoulders and bring your awareness deeper into the physical body. Take another very deep breath in, blowing the tummy up like a big ball. And as you breathe out, just bring your belly button back in again to see if you can touch your spine with your belly button. So you're really squeezing all the air out. Take another very deep breath in now, right down to your toes and up to the top of the head. And then let it go, let it go, let it go. Let's just hand the breath over to life. Life is an incredibly compassionate intelligence that breathes us whether we are conscious of it or not. Even when we're asleep at night, life breathes us. So let's hand over the breathing now to life, but keeping our attention on it, so we're aware of the tip of the nose and we're aware of the temperature of the air coming into the body and the slightly warmer air leaving our body. Just become aware of anything you can hear in your environment. Notice the faint, furthest away sounds. And become aware of how still you become when you truly listen. And as you become still, notice the arising of peace within you. The peace that's not caused by external circumstances, but the natural peace of your being. Notice a feeling of expansion, of opening. Notice how much more real you feel in this moment. How much more alive and present you are. How much more at ease you feel. And in your heart, in the quiet space in the center of your heart, just say a quiet thank you to life for bringing you to this time and this space, for guiding you to invest your attention in this quietness, in this satsang. You can hear the words that are coming through me in this moment, but pay attention to the spaces between the words. And in those spaces, notice an opening to the depth of life. to the depth of life within you right now. Allow your awareness and your attention to expand the spaces between the words, to make them even more important than the words themselves. And notice what happens inside you as you do that. Notice you become more authentic, more real. More present. So right now we're aware of the breath. We're aware of the sounds that we can hear. We are aware of the chair or floor that we're sitting or possibly lying on. And we're aware of the stillness within us, the space of our true essence. And we honor the space with our full attention, here and now. This space is like a hole in the flute for the Christ breath to blow through us. We become an instrument for peace. And it doesn't require any doing. The space opens up naturally as we become aware of our true being. Take a very deep breath in now, a slow, long, deep breath in. And an even longer out breath. Releasing, letting go of all that no longer serves you in this moment. And gently, when you're ready, softly open your eyes and just look around the room, wherever you are right now. Just see how much more gentle, how much more alive, how much more peaceful the world seems in this moment. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you. All those who joined. Janet and who else?
Thanks for joining us, everyone. So, what are we talking about?
Tonight is talking about space. We're talking about holding space. We're talking about holding space. What's happening astrologically? What's talking about the space and the cosmos. What's happening in the cosmos? We want to know.
Who's feeling these energies? I'd like to hear in the comments. Yeah, no, there's some very big, I often say that, but these alignments are really big this week and going into the next few weeks as we kind of end off like a major cycle, and as you know, the world heads towards the American election, which is a big thing for the whole world, really, I suppose. There's a lot of chaos out there, but there's also a lot of sort of ignited emotions at this time, and some of that's possibly anger or frustration or irritation, or even old emotions that we may have submerged, like sadness or guilt or resentment or any of those things that might have been underground. And this could be coming out either in conflict, or it could be coming out in extreme tiredness. I think a lot of people are feeling that. It could be coming out also in in physical dis-ease, sort of old conditions seeming to rear their heads again. Some of you might be sailing through this, which is wonderful. But if your astrology chart's being affected in some way, then probably you're feeling the energies of it. So the energy is also very, I'm going to say, scorpionic, just in terms of it's very transformational. And we've got the ruler of Scorpio, it has two rulers, Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, and Mars, which is the planet of our goals, and it's our masculine energy. It's also the planet of aggression, anger, war. And when those two are opposite each other, which they're basically opposite each other right now, there can be a sort of ignited energy. I can't think of the right word, but it can be kind of volcanic. So I just think that as this perfects, it's actually perfect today. It's exactly at the same kind of degree, and it's also at the very end degree of two signs. So what happens when things go to the end degree? They're even more potent, if you like. The energy is more potent, and we've got both of them opposite each other at 29 degrees. This is the last time Pluto will be there, and he will be leaving the sign of Capricorn for good on the 20th of November. So this is all sort of, it's sort of a build-up. It's a little bit like a pressure cooker. And this alignment that's current now, even though I did it in, I spoke about it in my new moon video, it's still very much around. In fact, the opposition of these two planets is exact now and for the next few days, but we'll be feeling it for a few weeks. So that's why we just thought it would be a good idea to speak about holding space. And just before we go into that, my analogy with Scorpio new moon and Scorpios and the sun's in Scorpio for the next few weeks is sort of a lake. Imagine a lake of water, and a lake of water would symbolize water being emotion, would symbolize the holding space for what is emerging emotionally. So that's what we want to discuss, and space in general, whatever comes up.
Yeah. So what you're saying there is we have certain energies at the moment that make things quite volatile.
Yeah.
And
potentially.
Some of you may be feeling extremely peaceful and calm at the moment, and life may be sailing along beautifully. We don't all occupy one reality. We have many different realities, but you may find that old triggers are being activated right now. And with this election in America, I think we're going to see a lot of volatility in that, a lot of turmoil.
Yeah, no.
In that it's on the cards. Yeah, it is on the cards.
I think there really is.
So it's to find the peace within, to become an instrument of peace, because as we find our peace within us, so that ripples out into the universe through the what Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. It's the interrelatedness of all physical matter. So as we find that inner peace and that stillness within us, we automatically provide the optimal environment for there to be peace in the environment that we directly meet, but also in the collective consciousness of all of humanity, to dissipate that feeling of turmoil in the world, and to come back to centeredness. This is why it's really important for us to find this centeredness and this peace and the space within us, because we then become the portal for that to radiate out into a broader community around us. So it's important, and if you would like to maybe even share the satsang with friends and family, and just to emphasize the importance right now of maintaining one's own center, and to be that center of the storm while the storm is raging outside of us, maybe in certain ways, to find that peace within us, because that automatically enables other people to connect with their inner strength, their inner peace, their inner resilience.
Yeah, and also just the holding of the space for whatever is arising. So you can do that from a peaceful place, even if you're feeling triggered, even if difficult emotions might be arising. we don't have to actually go into them and project them, but it's important that these feelings, which are basically coming up to the surface, are felt and acknowledged and honored even, but not necessarily that we stay in them or that we give them more power. It's just that we allow it, like a wave in the ocean, to actually pass through us. Because when feelings get suppressed, they can very often become volcanic. And when there's triggers like this that are happening, that volcano just bursts. And very often that bursts outwardly to somebody else in anger, or an angry exchange, conflict, going all the way through to what we're seeing in our world all over the place, which is outright war, and two sides fighting each other and not being able to actually ever find peace. So as John said, if we can actually hold a peaceful place inside ourselves, in the sense that what is arising is allowed to arise, I don't have to act on it. I can see it because I'm in the center looking at it. So I'm the observer of it. I'm not it then. So I can observe this trigger, or I can observe this feeling that's passing through me, whatever it is. And I don't have to attach to it, or believe it, or go into a story about it. I can just see it and feel it. So breathe through it. And if you feel that anger is arising, do something physical. Feel it, allow it to be there, and allow it to pass through you, holding a space for it. Most of us, if a child is having a bad moment, hopefully we don't slap the child and say, stop it. Although we used to get if we were
talking about that earlier.
Moment, yeah. But hopefully we don't do that anymore. If a child is scared and comes and says, I'm very scared, what must I do? Hopefully you hold the child and allow that feeling to pass in a loving way. So there's an acceptance, there's an allowing, there's an allowing of whatever it is to come up and to move through, as opposed to saying, I shouldn't be feeling this, and submerging it, because that's dangerous, and that creates all sorts of subterranean effects, which at some point have to come out.
Now, there's a lovely line from the Course in Miracles that says, you're never upset for the reason you think you are. Let that sink in. You're never upset for the reason you think you are. So what that is really pointing towards is that there are some submerged, subconscious programs running, some emotions that haven't been fully accepted, that have maybe been repressed. And that comes out in weird ways. We are triggered by small events, and suddenly we get very upset over something, and we think it's that somethingness that's actually the problem. Meanwhile, it's these old programs sitting in our subconscious mind, the unacknowledged resistances that we hold in us, that are being triggered and brought to the surface by this sometimes superficial event on the outside.
So true.
And so it is, for example, in wars quite often, in conflict between nations. They think it's X, Y, Z that's creating the problem, but it isn't. It's some unresolved issue within the collective psyche that hasn't been accepted, hasn't been loved, hasn't been fully allowed to move through them. So we have a week in our 13-week online journey. Our course is called Journey to Freedom, and there's a whole week there called Feeling is Healing. And that's very important at this time, is to allow the feelings to flow through us without needing to know what triggered them, what caused them, and definitely without trying to understand them or obliterate them. Just allow them to be there.
Or fix them.
But the secret in that, the secret to healing those feelings, is not to perpetuate a story about the feelings. So, if we're feeling angry, we might project it onto a particular person or situation and say that situation or that person is responsible for creating my anger. And what those thought patterns do is they reactivate those old subconscious programs within us and perpetuate that energy of anger in our current experience, but also feeding those old neurological pathways, which will then boil to the surface once again in the future, because we're feeding a particular storyline. So in our Feeling to Healing week, we talk about just holding those emotions, holding those feelings in a space, acknowledging them fully, allowing them to be there, not resisting them, not distracting ourselves from them, but holding them in the space of our awareness, and just dropping any story associated with those feelings, any story that we are imagining is the cause of those feelings. Drop it. And I know it can be quite hard, because the ego gets this whole identity from justifying how it's feeling in that moment. But just drop it. Just drop the story and be present with the feeling. As Michelle was saying earlier, holding a space for the feelings to be there. Now, holding space doesn't include any story. It's just a space of awareness for whatever is arising in that moment. So this is why it's really important for the next little while to know what holding a space is, and to practice that in our moment-to-moment negotiation with the world around us, to hold a sacred space of acceptance for whatever is arising, without the need to fix it, without the need to understand it, without the need to push it away or solve it. Just to hold that space in your awareness and allow it to be with an open heart.
Yeah, and I mean that's not as easy as it sounds, but if we can do that in our own being, if we can hold a space for our own whatever it is that's moving through us, then it could be easier to hold that space for somebody else that's moving through that. Because generally, when somebody's moving through something, we will try to fix it. We will try to defend if we are being attacked. If there's a trigger and somebody's angry, we will spring to defense. And then what happens then very often, especially in a relationship where there's some issues and some baggage and some history, is that it can be the same old cycle again and again and again. So you'll end up having the same argument, but about different things. But it's got like a similar trajectory of you say this, I say that, he says that, she says that, and then it's all hell breaks loose. So how can we change that pattern is the question. And sometimes it's just to pause and to breathe and to bring ourselves back into center, as opposed to having to try to persuade the other person or to prove our point, because that often just perpetuates. And if you think back on the child, all the child wants is somebody just to hold them and to reassure them that they are loved. And we don't grow out of that. As adults, we still want to be held, and we still want to be told that we're loved. And that holding space is probably the most loving thing we can do with another human being. Not to try to fix them, not to try to make it better, not to try to advise them, not to try and persuade them that our way is better, but just to accept that this is what they're moving through. Oh, I see that this is what's happening for you. Hopefully we're not fading in and out, because I see Claire says that she keeps losing us. Can you just tell us any of the others of you, if you are losing us? Losing the connection?
Yeah, it seems we have a slow connection tonight, but hopefully you can hear and see us. Just let us know if you can't. And just leading on from what you were saying there, with an argument you said about patterns. And to know that whenever there is an argument or disagreement with someone, generally it's because there's too much time and not enough presence. In other words, there's too much history or too much future being projected in that moment, and not enough presence between you. So it's just to be aware that we have a choice in each moment to invest our awareness in time, past and future, or to come back to presence. Now, to hold the space To hold space means to be present. That's really what it means. Because in presence, if we go into the space between our thoughts, we go into that space, and we hold that space within us, we then allow the other person to, it's like an invitation for them to come into the space and to clear their mind. Because the agitation, possibly in the other, is created by too much time. And if we get involved in time as well, justifying history or justifying future in any way, then we will perhaps close the portal for peace and presence to flow through us. Therefore, we will actually become part of the problem and not part of the solution. So whenever there is conflict, either in you or outside of you, it's to go into that space of presence, that timeless essence of being. It might be difficult because when there is conflict going on around you, it ignites our own mind. And that's generally what happens in arguments, is that something the other person says ignites your own unconscious patterns based in time. And then you lose presence and the other person loses presence even more. And the conflict escalates. So the solution, whatever the conflict is in your life, is to make what is more important to you, more real to you, more sacred to you than what isn't. And what is always the present moment. That never goes anywhere. And what isn't is generally the story we're attaching ourselves to, based in history or based in a projection of time in the future. So just be aware of that one little trick, one little tool that you have when you are experiencing turmoil, either internally or externally, to start in that moment to make a choice to make what is more real to you than what isn't. And one of the powerful ways of doing that is to become conscious of your own breath, to take one deep conscious breath and to focus on the out-breath more than the in-breath, because the out-breath is a releasing, the in-breath might be a doing, but the out-breath is a portal into being. And what opens space and allows you to hold space is the alignment of your awareness with your true being.
Yeah, and I think that I think it's a very good week to practice with the little things. So instead of waiting for something massive, a big trigger, which can happen at the moment with these energies, is to practice with the little things. So that's the little irritation that you might usually say something about or react off. If we can just bring ourselves back and notice it, just notice irritation. I'm feeling irritated right now. That's it. That's it. I don't have to change it. I can just stay with it.
Hold a space.
And hold a space for irritation. Yeah. No judgment about it. Because very often the judgment comes up, I shouldn't. There's something wrong with me. Should be better than I used to be, and should be more peaceful, and whatever. All the should'ves. So can you just accept that I'm feeling irritated? And even verbalize it if you need to your partner or to somebody you live with, if there is that, to say, I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling this at the moment. So just excuse me, I'm going to go and take myself up into the garden, or I'm going for a walk, or I'm making a cup of tea. So it's also sometimes vulnerability and the ability to share how we feel actually helps us to get closer, because it takes barriers away. And it's okay to feel not so good. And very often after you've been able to actually just hold a space for it, it'll pass. So that it's good practice, especially this week, to bring in that pause that we often speak about. So if you feel something tricky or uncomfortable moving through you, can you just pause, as John said, bring yourself back to the breath. Pause. Connect with the five senses. That often also helps. Is what can I hear in this moment? What can I smell? What can I touch? What can I feel? What can I see? Because it brings you in to the present moment. So it's that kind of practice, I think, that's going to actually bode quite well for the coming energies and for these current energies, we'd love comments from you guys to see how do you deal with these kinds of triggers. How
and
do
are you
deal
feeling
with,
any
these
emotions
energies?
at the moment?
Yeah.
The energies that are going around.
Yeah. And if you're not, that's fine. Maybe you can just be a gentle holding space for someone who is. You know?
Yeah. And just something you said about holding space. So with the likelihood of triggers, emotional triggers and past patterns resurfacing at this time, particularly patterns of conflict, it's, as you said, to take yourself into nature. Use nature as a powerful portal for your own centering. And if you are feeling emotions coming to the surface, just make a conscious effort to remove yourself from the physical environment that you're finding yourself in and go into nature, particularly nature that isn't controlled by humans. In other words, a manicured garden, it's better than being inside a house maybe, but if you can get into some sort of wilderness area, some area that is uncontrolled by humans. And the reason that helps is because obviously the conflict that's arising is generally mind derived, and when you're in a physical house or building that's been constructed, it's being constructed from the mind, so the walls are straight and square, etc., and the furniture is all aligned. Where when you go into nature, nothing much is square and straight, and nothing much seems to be aligned for the logic of the mind. So you're going to a place of relative unpredictability when you go into nature, but in that unpredictability you open your consciousness to creativity and to find the space between the form. And those two things combined will more than likely take you into a more peaceful, more centered state of consciousness and allow some transcendent intelligence to come through you to provide the solution for whatever the conflict is actually about in that moment. So, once again, use nature as a means of centering yourself and bringing yourself into alignment with the space that is in fact life. Life is space. That's what life is. And as you bring yourself into alignment with life, you find your centeredness returning, and you find that you become more intelligent and better able to problem solve from that. Things make more sense when you're in nature compared to when you're in a human environment. So take every opportunity you can, particularly over the next few days, to connect more and more with nature, with a natural environment.
Yeah, and I mean, it is Mother Nature, and the mother is the holding space generally for nurturing the feminine. So it's to connect to the feminine energy, because the energy right now is quite it can be quite abrasive, and so I just feel that we really need that nurturing. You might feel the need to just be on your own and withdraw sometimes. That's fine too. If you don't feel that, it's fine. But if you do, honor it.
Yeah.
Honor that. You don't always have to be everything to everybody. So it's okay for you to actually just say, no, I'm just taking some time out just to be, and to stop the doing, and to because of the energies out there, not just astrologically or cosmically, but there is a lot going on this planet right now, and we are all connected. So when there's a huge amount of anxiety or a huge amount of fear or a huge amount of anger on the planet, we pick it up very often. And so it's just to know that the only place where we can actually truly find peace is here. So if you are watching a lot of the news, don't. Just stop. You don't have to watch the news all the time. If you're listening to things all day long, just see if you can bring it down a little bit and just be. Read a book, lie under a tree, have a long bath, just sit quietly watching a bird, a flower. Just take those moments, those little pockets of nothingness, of beingness, because that really is going to help us with what we're actually transitioning through. Because we are transitioning through, and it's a major transition.
Yeah.
None of us know quite exactly how this plays out, but we know that we're in it. And what we used to be is no longer valid. The way we used to behave in the world, the way we used to treat each other, the way we used to treat ourselves, that is shifting. And we're in the process of this shifting. And so it's to honor that as well.
Yeah, and Cara and I see Merlene as well, is just saying, about connecting with water.
Oh, yeah.
And that has two levels. First of all, water is emotion. So it's good to, if you're feeling very emotional, to connect with water, swim in water, just even sit and be present with water. That definitely will help us, because water can quite often calm us. And it has that connection, that essence of emotion in it. But also to drink water. It's very important at the moment to hydrate with quality water. And the reason for that is that these energies can be seen almost like an upgrade to the physical and mental body. And as such, as the body's going through this upgrade, there's a lot of changes taking place within the molecules of the physical body. And that requires water. Water is life. Water has an intelligence within it. So just see that you're drinking enough water at the moment, quality water.
Good quality.
That's really important. So yes, sit and be with water. If you've got a lake or a sea near you, definitely connect with that essence of water. But at the same time also bring the water into your body as well. And another aspect of water is tears. Crying definitely helps dissipate emotion. So if you're feeling a bit teary, allow yourself to cry. This evening's theme is holding space. Hold the space for yourself and for any emotion which is passing through you. If it is sadness or tears, allow it to flow through you. But just be aware of what we were saying earlier. Don't attach a story, any story, to that feeling. Just let the story go. That's really important.
Yeah, just on the subject of water, water is also it's intelligence, it's life. And if you haven't heard of her, have a look online for Veda Austin, Veda, and then her surname is Austin. She's doing the most fascinating research on water and the intelligence that water has is phenomenal. And we are, 70 or 80% water. So every single bit of water in us has a memory and has intelligence. And so when we connect with water, there is a healing that happens because we are connected to it. And it has an intelligence, and we have an intelligence. So just sitting next to a body of water, we were fortunate enough to go over to the Heads yesterday and last night. Thank you, Anne. And just seeing that water, just allowing that, listening to the lapping of the water was so healing. So if you have the opportunity of doing that, then good idea. Otherwise, have a beautiful bath or a really long shower, but just bring water in this week and bless it. Bless the water. Yeah. As well.
Yeah. Bless the water is really, really important if you look at the work of Veda Austin and also Emoto. That when you are present, when you are in a spacious consciousness, the crystals created in water are truly magnificent. They really, really are. So the water is life, and water is interconnected all over the planet. And so if we are able to hold the space of peace within us, that affects our water, and that water communicates within the water within everyone around us, ripples out into the world. The intelligence and the importance of water has been completely overlooked in our modern scientific world, but it's truly phenomenal, and that awareness is coming back at the moment. So yes, honor water, both externally and internally.
What Veda Austin is doing is she will, for example, if you have let's just say we're having a discussion and we mention dolphins, she will freeze the water at that moment, put it in the fridge, at the moment that we're actually having that discussion. When she brings it out, the frozen, it's crystallized into an image of a dolphin. I mean, there's so many examples of the water just following, or if you put it over a picture, it'll actually pick up that picture and it'll come out in that frozen water as an image that's very resemblant of a picture. So it's, for me, when you see that, you actually really realize the power and the intelligence of water. And we have to remember that we are so watery, and that we are picking up all of it. So, you might be a little irritated, you might be a bit frustrated, you might be picking up stuff that's going around. So then, even more reason to actually give those pauses, and just pause between doing this and doing that. It's another really good way of bringing ourselves back. So if you are speaking on the phone to someone and you finish the conversation, pause before you enter into another conversation with someone else, or before you go and do something else. So you're not pulling the energy from that conversation into the next thing. So pause, just pause. Put a reminder somewhere. Put a reminder on your phone. Pause. Pause, breathe.
Yeah, and the other thing about water is in the research they show, in Mota's work, I remember, is blessing water. What blessing water does. So if there are tears coming out of your eyes, bless the water. If you're sitting next to a lake, bless the water. If you're drinking water, bless the water. That has a huge transformational effect on the energy in water. And as you change this water, you change all water. So that's the power that we have within us, the conscious intention to bring presence into this physical dimension. So the important part from tonight's satsang is to remember the power contained within this moment to hold a space for whatever is occurring, be it emotions, be it turbulence on the outside. Just be the space, hold the space. That is our task at the moment, if you want to put it that way. That's our purpose, is to hold the space for this transformation to take place within. There is a huge cosmic transformation taking place at the moment, and we are part of that. We are co-creators and we're co-facilitators for it. So let us be the midwife that is able to hold the space for peace and love to come into this dimension, to be birthed more fully into this particular dimension.
I love what you said there. You said be the space. I really love that. And also just let it go. Whatever happens, you have an argument with someone, you have a disagreement with someone, let it go as quickly as you can. It's no point holding on to it. It doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve them. Let it go. Because that's how we transmute, how we alchemize, and then we're part of the solution. You hold on to it, it's just going to affect you, and it's going to affect the other person, it's going to affect the whole field, it's going to affect everybody's water. So just let it go.
And another word for letting go is forgive. Forgive each moment as it occurs. Let it go. Forgive it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Don't hold on to the previous moment. You let it go. You'll forgive. And in that forgiveness, there's a transformation of energy. As you forgive, you actually open up a space for this presence, this life, this love to flow through you into this dimension. That's the importance of forgiveness. Forgiveness is always a liberation of yourself from the mind.
It is from the mind, because it's the mind that won't forgive. That finds it difficult to forgive. I would forgive him if, but I can't because he, or I can't because she. What if you could? It goes back to that hot coal. If somebody gave you a hot coal and put it in your hand, how long would you hold on to it for? You wouldn't. You'd drop it very quickly because it would be burning you. And we don't realize that the resentment and the unforgiveness is doing exactly the same thing. It's just not visible immediately.
So just drop the previous moment, because
Yeah,
that
just
previous
drop the
moment
previous
may
moment.
well become toxic inside if you don't drop it. So just drop that moment, let it go, let it go. Be the space
Yeah, be
for
the space.
presence to lead you more fully into the new earth the new world that's being born at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to lead us through a centering meditation before we end? And you're going to choose an
some cards
affirmation
here.
card. We've got a few cards here. We've got a few cards. Let's just choose one. Choose one. Which one are you going to choose? The yellow one.
There we go.
Here's the yellow one. What does the yellow one say?
Oh, that's lovely.
That's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll share this card with you in a moment.
Okay, so let's just settle in for a closing meditation. Just take a deep breath in. And then a beautiful releasing breath out. Let's just do a different breath tonight. It's called a 4-part breath. So breathing in for 5, holding for 5, breathing out for 5, and holding for 5. Imagine like a box. So breathing in, count to 5, holding, to the count of 5, releasing to the count of 5, and then holding. And in that out breath, in that holding space after you've had the out breath, there is a silence. And just to let that breath just be the way it is. Consciously connect with the stillness beneath the busy mind. Imagine that there was a beautiful, very calm body of water right inside you, like a beautiful, calm, peaceful lake. Beautiful, calm lake of intelligence, softness, gentleness, acceptance. A lake that's able to absorb whatever flows in and transmute. This beautiful holding space that lies within you, where there is no judgment. There are no rights or wrongs. There's just peaceful acceptance for what is in this moment. Allow yourself on the next out breath to just really drop into this place. The busy mind starts to become obvious. Just allow yourself to breathe, focus on the out breath, and drop back in, come back in. To a silky, soft place within you. This place of allowing, this place of nurturing, this place of safety. Opening its arms for you to just be. Our affirmation card for this evening is: I surrender to life right now in this present moment. So just surrender into this moment. Feel your body relaxing as it lets go of any resistance or any judgment. Total acceptance of now. In this way, recharging ourselves, rebooting, re-energizing. I surrender to life right now in this present moment. Allow yourself to drift just for a few more moments in this stillness. And feeling gratitude for this beautiful group of people, and gratitude for joining in tonight, giving yourself the chance to just come back home for a while. And now taking a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, you can gently start to open your eyes.
Thank you, that was lovely. Wasn't that centering? That was really nice. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
And the affirmation: I surrender to life right now in this present moment. It's a wonderful card. I'll put that up on the Facebook page in a moment. And if you can use that affirmation to help center you through the coming energies of this week, you'll find yourself sailing through it in presence and in peace, rather than being caught up in the eddies and whirlpools of the flow of the river. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We love you all. Thanks for your support, and we look forward to catching up with you on this space, in 2 weeks' time. Lots of love.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.